Welcome to the Workshop 17 extraordinary moment of work-life radio. Hi, I'm Timothy Maurice, your behavioral psychology author, and I get a chance today to highlight some extraordinary members and have some fun doing it. Welcome, and I want you to share this podcast with people inside of your network who could benefit and engage and partner with other innovative members. I feel privileged to be able to have this conversation because I'm a member as well of Workshop 17, and so many incredible moments I owe to this particular brand. And so what you're about to engage with are people who are doing incredible things, from digital tech to change management, to all types of businesses. And as you settle in, and I don't care if you're listening to this on the treadmill in audio or you're sitting down watching this in between meetings, just know that one conversation with a stranger, one moment can radically change your life. And the in space that we have designed for you across the entire brand is exactly why we're having this conversation, because we want to look at the integration of space, people, and possibilities. So settle in. And I want to bring up two extraordinary people who I've grown to adore and admire for their minds, their spirits, their hearts, because they're all about people and advancing members' potential. Every single member that you will experience today has an idea that became reality. And somewhere in between the idea and the reality is a space. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. So up first, we're going to talk to Nisha Vanderhoven. She's the architect and design lead at Workshop 17. Let's give her a round of applause. Welcome, Anisha. And we have the founder and CEO of Workshop 17, Paul Kirsten. Give him a shout. Come through, guys. Have a seat. Welcome. Hi, Nisha. Awesome, guys. It's really good to see you. This is such a beautiful, beautiful space. Why don't we start by talking to you, Nisha, first? I mean, so much of this space is kind of your vision. You guys work together, you collaborate on this, but tell us a little bit about your architectural firm to start with.
So, hi, everybody. Lovely to see you. And I run an architectural practice called Hoven, but I work very closely with Workshop 17 as the design lead and the initiator of the design of the spaces for all of the Workshop 17 locations around South Africa and in Mauritius. I think a lot of what I ask people to do is imagine, and then I hope that they have a lot of faith in me to deliver. But it really is about bringing people on this journey from an initial design concept right through to the design development process and the final result with the build and essentially launch day when everybody moves in and grabs a seat.
Yeah. Paul, I know, you really believe in people.
I do.
You believe in people. Tell us a little bit about your vision for this brand and why you started it.
Yeah, I started it together with Mark Seftel, I think now 13 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And we really felt that we wanted to create a platform for people to thrive, to be innovative, and to be successful and solve some of the problems that the society is facing with. So it's quite a lofty ambition. But it was inspired by the work of Stephen Johnson, and I can advise everyone, if you have some time, to watch some of his TED Talks, where good ideas come from and how good ideas flourish. And to put it very shortly, is we wanted to create a space where a lot of accidental meetings happen. And if you think about everyone, if you think what matters in your life and moments that really made a difference, it's often unplanned. It's often meeting someone who gave you an idea or inspired you or gave you an idea that didn't make sense in the beginning, but then started to make sense later on. Mm-hmm. It happens in a coffee shop. It happens in a passage. It happens on a town square and a village square. And with all the digital advancements, we've lost a bit of those space where people feel that human connection and the desire to really help each other. And we actually, in short, we wanted to create a space where those accidental meetings that make a difference to someone's life happen as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I met you, actually.
Exactly.
Just kind of, you were in a corner. I needed to get past you. We kind of bumped into each other, and then we started talking about behavioral design and the importance of how space can be an enabler. Chat a little bit about how space enables connection.
Well, I think when designing for Workshop 17, we're not just designing for one particular client. You've got multiple members and use cases at the end of the day that you obviously need to facilitate and create a platform for their different work roles and scenarios to play out. But I think what it often comes down to is that level of comfort. If people feel comfortable in a space and an environment, they're able to have that freedom to create, the opportunity to engage, the ability to focus during their workday. And so if we can create those different modes of working and scenarios, we allow people to engage in space, and the space actually becomes an enabler, a platform for all those different scenarios and engagements to come to fruition. And I think also in the types of spaces that we design, it's really not a one-size-fits-all. So people can gravitate to different work environments throughout their day to be able to change their work modes and their work methods to suit the need and the task at hand.
Yeah. Paul, you like to have fun as well. You're quite a serious guy, but you really enjoy, and I think that's why we're doing this as well. It's like bring members together, have a little bit of fun. Upcoming, we're going to have a fun song segment where we talk about the soundtrack to your life. And I don't care where you are, where you're listening. Sometimes songs can get us through the day, right? I remember going to a lecture once, and it talked about how Nelson Mandela used to listen to jazz while in prison. Okay. And they framed him as a jazz man and how it got him through some of the toughest days. Why did you want to do this podcast?
Yeah. In terms of fun and joy, what gives me most joy is actually the stories of people. Mm-hmm. And we create an environment, and Nisha spoke about comfort. When you feel comfortable, and you only reach out to others if you feel comfortable and if you feel alive. Mm-hmm. So work can be serious, but it brings some lightness to it, brings some joy and fun, because I think still is a threshold for people if you walk across, and the spaces are actually created to not have a lot of passages, but squares and natural places where you meet each other. But still there is that idea like, do I trust myself to say more than hello? Say, I've met you now 3 times. Can we have a coffee together and see what you're doing? Yeah. So spark that curiosity. The environment must stimulate that, but some lightness also, because it takes the seriousness away. It's about, are you drinking that kind of coffee? I like something very different. It is bringing that social and that just daily life into work, because we need to live while we work. And when you feel alive, you feel it's more easy to connect. And what I like about what we're doing now is those stories don't get told enough. Yeah. The amazing work that people are doing is not out there. So the whole idea of this podcast is, can we bring, again, a platform for members to get more out there, for members to know each other's stories, so to create more opportunity to connect and for success of the members. That's really what this is about.
We have a bit of an audience here, and so I want everybody to be thinking about your favorite song at the moment. We may end up turning this into a dance floor later. I can see there's a few dancers here just by the look in your eyes. One of my favorite quotes is by Honoré de Bloch. He said, as soon as coffee is in the stomach, similes arise. Writing ceases to be a struggle, and the paper is covered. Coffee is your ally. And that's the beauty of the space that we're in right now, right? Coffee can be your ally. So guys, feel free to move around and grab your coffee as well as we continue this conversation. I want to know, how did you guys meet? Take us back to that moment.
Do you remember?
I think so. Do you want to share?
No, go for it.
Well, I actually met through a friend, and she was going on maternity leave, and she asked me to kind of step in and help out. And here I am, 10 years later, helping out. Oh, wow. So,
10 years ago.
Yes. Yeah, 10 years ago.
Yeah. And it became a wonderful, because she's a magician with space and with colors. But a magician that creates a space for others. So some magicians want to be in the center stage, Nisha is more creating a center stage for others. And I think that's where we align so much. And the story is also, you started as a colleague.
Yes. Yeah.
From the very first beginning, we said, can this be a stepping stone for you to create your own design practice and beyond? And I think that's exactly where it's back to what Workshop 17 is about, helping entrepreneurs to build their own businesses.
Exactly.
And it works for us too, because that gets inspiration for Nisha in her teaching, in her examination, in her other work, to bring back to Workshop 17 so we don't create the same over again. We evolve and keep learning.
I would love to talk to you guys the entire day, but I can't. We've got some members we need to highlight. But I do want to speak to, before I let you guys go, the footprint. Part of the reason why I'm a member is that when I'm in Cape Town and other regions, I can just pop into quite easily, online, book a room,
Correct.
anywhere. And I've actually launched products from the States. I work between here and America. And I've launched products where we brought Americans to your Cape Town location. Tell us a little bit about the footprint and some of the themes in some of these other areas.
Sure. I think there's certain design principles that obviously guide the way we curate the spaces. Aesthetics is obviously one thing. And highly curated and beautifully designed spaces and craftsmanship obviously lend itself to the aesthetic well-being. But there's a lot more elements to that, Timothy. I think acoustics plays a big role in the shaping space and feeling comfortable in spaces. The sensory experience in terms of the material interaction on the chairs that you're seated on, the desks that you're engaging with on a daily basis, right down to plants and greenery. So how we bring in natural light into the spaces, how we foster or create those views and those connections with outside. So it's a lot of layering of biophilic elements, connection with nature.
Wait, what is biophilic? I don't think there's anybody in here know what biophilic. Does anybody know what biophilic is?
Come now.
You know what biophilic is? Wow.
Well, it's about our relationship with nature.
Oh, okay.
And it's about the reflection of nature indoors, but bringing that through, not just through plants and greenery, but also the tactile surfaces that we can touch and feel that also help to ground us. Now, those are all really elements that start to shape the aesthetics of a space. But what's equally important, I think, is the location, which you touched on. And it's really designing for that community. So no Workshop 17 location is the same. What we try and foster or develop in that design process is curating a mix of palettes of materials, color, that's all sensory and connected back to the location and the community that we're designing for.
Can I add one thing to that? I think what Nisha is speaking about is that your workspace is a whole landscape. It's not one desk and one chair in one spot.
Correct.
And that goes in the location like this. You can move around and find a spot for the day or for the hour. But it also goes that since COVID, we've learned that the workspace is not one place. It can be home, the coffee shop, you're traveling. And how do you create that area where you go? And that's why we actually grow as Workshop 17 to create that network of locations that all becomes your workspace.
As we close out, you guys, and I say goodbye to you and cue up Craig, who's going to come up, what would you say to a member who's thinking about becoming a member? Or what would you say to someone who's a potential member thinking about it, but they hadn't decided yet? What would you say to them?
I think to immerse yourself in a space for a day and to remain curious and engage with as many people that you can, because I think it's those sort of surprise encounters, those meetings that would actually, I think, help you sort of develop a connection with the space beyond just the spatial platform, but the relationships that you build beyond that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your biophilic vision. And thank you for...
What vision is that?
And thank you for commitment to people and how your belief in the extraordinary potential of going from an idea to reality and how spaces enable that. Thank you so much, Paul. We really appreciate it. Give them a round of applause.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Nisha. All right, let's keep it going. Up next, we have Chief Coffee Drinker, founder of B2B Success, Craig Lepin. Yeah, have a seat here, Craig. Give him a round of applause, guys. Craig, I'm also obsessed with coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember the first time you had coffee?
First time, a while back. But I know Workshop 17 coffee is definitely the best. So I love it. I love it. That and the Wi-Fi.
You know, my coffee takes me to a moment of my grandfather.
Really?
So I grew up on a farm.
Oh,
Literally on a big farm in North Carolina.
Okay.
And my grandfather would wake up early in the morning, and he would sit me down, and we would just have it. You know, if I think back, it probably wasn't the best coffee, but it was my relationship with him that evolved.
Yeah.
Who do you enjoy having coffee with?
You know, it's the first thing I do when I get up. I know Mel Robbins says you shouldn't have coffee the first thing, but it's literally in the first 3 minutes, I go straight to the coffee machine. I make myself a coffee. So my first coffee is with myself.
Okay.
Me and myself.
Man in the mirror.
And the next coffee, hopefully about 10, is with someone, with a colleague, with business people. But yeah, it's been a great way to meet people.
Sure.
I had a sales coach who told me, Craig, you can't do this business development by having coffees with everyone. It just doesn't work. It's not structured. So anyway, it's still working for me somehow.
Yeah. Craig, let's talk a little bit about B2B solutions.
Sure.
What is tell us what work
I've been working as independent, supporting tech businesses and sales. And a lot of that has to do with relationships and connections. So, you know, I find myself in this consulting role with no clients at the start of January by design. And literally just went to Workshop 17 in Hyde Park and realized that I had to be there. So I just kicked up a subscription. I had access to Newlands through another client. But yeah, I basically work to support tech and sales teams and really help organizations, typically smallish organizations, 50 to 60 people, that are often owner-run, owner-managed, that are trying to grow and scale. And yeah, bring sales and marketing to their world. And a lot of that times it's getting people to get out there and have connections and have relationships.
And your team, does it compromise of do they come to the Hyde Park location?
It's me.
Or is it just
it's just me.
It's you. It's like the three of us, me, myself, and I.
It's me, myself, and I. And that's why, you know, I've had access to people through clients over about 10 years, but it was so interesting that I live very close to the Hyde Park office, and I just decided I had to leave home and create my own office, and that was Hyde Park. Yeah.
Well, I'm happy we have a Hyde Parker here because it's a vastly different space, right?
Yeah, and I was just immediately struck by how stunning that new layout was, and I think it is beautiful, and it's a beautiful place to work, and immediately has felt like home to me and a community where, you know, from Takazi at reception to Michelle, it literally feels like my team. So when you ask about my team, I feel like Workshop 17 is my team, actually. The closest thing I have to a team.
But and that's actually interesting, because if you think about the extensions, there are multiple types of relationships.
Yeah.
And if you have a meeting there, the receptionist at Workshop 17 becomes your receptionist.
Absolutely.
It's
and
like
she
your
knows
first
me,
point.
and she knows, he's coming, you know. So that's been surprising. You know, I didn't expect that from a co-working space. I always had access to it, but Hyde Park has felt very small, very intimate, you know, and I think it's going to grow. And I saw Newlands at the start when it was still small and not so busy. And yeah, Hyde Park is an unbelievable space. I mean, I love it. It's fantastic.
I haven't been to Newlands. What is the space like?
Yeah, Newlands is on the cricket ground. So if you love cricket, you won't see it there because it's too busy when you go there. But we used to be downstairs, and you'd sit at this office, and you've got this beautiful big green garden in front of you. So just from a visual space, fantastic. And yeah, the upstairs, downstairs, the layouts. I mean, I was there literally on Monday, shot out of my house. I can work from home, but I literally left home to have a few hours there and then came back home in the afternoon. So Newlands is a fantastic space. And there's obviously a new whole media space that's been created for the media teams down there. I think Newlands is a beautiful space. And I'm often at Kloof Street, with clients at Kloof Street. Also so different. And a beautiful space, beautiful view of the mountain down there as well.
Let's go back. Let's talk about you. Let's go. Let's call this segment Behind the Mask. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about how you got to where you are.
Sure.
I'm sure you've had a few iterations.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm an engineer that realized after coming to Joburg 20 years ago, people always thought I was in sales, though I wasn't. And increasingly, I just fallen into the sales world and often helping technical businesses. Some of the best salespeople, marketing people are actually engineers. So yeah, I just literally left a business 10 years ago to be in a startup. That startup didn't work out. It was about drones. And I literally started consulting by accident because I had to make some other money for the business. And I keep thinking every year, I'm going to go and get a job. And in fact, last year I thought, let me go get a job. So I did, and that was a disaster. And I realized I don't need a job. I've got to keep doing this thing of being truly independent. And when you get to my age, you should be retiring now. But I really, it's been exciting, So as an engineer, I've worked. I love technology. I'm loving media, so I love this, being part of this. And I think it's interesting. Often people feel they have to have big teams. I think I'm really enjoyed being an independent. But I'm able to drop into my client and be part of their team. So when you ask who my team is, it's often my client. My client becomes my team. I work with them, executives all over the business. So wherever I am working, and I think an independent has an amazing ability to advise. Where there's old thing consulting. No one believes anybody in the business. You bring in a consultant as the mirror, and they say, "Oh, great, let's do that." And it's actually become an agent of change. Yes, it's sales, it's marketing, but typically you want to go in and make a change, a positive change. Sure. So that's really where I find myself, is as an agent of change after all these years. And like any business, there's very few things you can't fix with more sales or more product, right? So yes, it's an easy sell, but you have to catch businesses that are ready to change. Businesses get so comfortable where they are. That's a bit about me.
You brought up something that I'm very passionate about. Most people have read the book Ikigai now. It's like a popular kind of go-to. Yeah. But you learn in that book quite early in the book that there's no such thing as retirement. No, totally. They believe in kind of that next purpose.
Evolution. Yeah.
It's like 100%. You evolve to a new purpose. It's like the idea of retirement is you stopping and you're starting to kind of die off. By the way, both my parents are retired. They just had their 52nd wedding anniversary. Wow. Let's give them a round of applause. I don't know how my mom has done it. But if you think about this current level of purpose, why you wake up every day and you go to Workshop 17 to connect with people, what would you say your highest purpose is at the moment?
Yeah, I think in consulting you have to provide service. And I think everybody provides some kind of service. And you've got to find that whether you're in a company or a consultancy, you must give of yourself and you must give value. And if you stop doing that and you decide to check out and go lie on the beach, you stop being of value. And I think that's where people deteriorate. They stop being useful to society. So I think it's always giving. You have to give of yourself and share what you do. And sometimes that's for free, and that's pre-sales,
It's funny when you say that. My dad, I was chatting to him. I was home in the States just over a week ago, and he writes poetry. Yeah. And I was like, let's co-write a poetry book.
Yeah, cool.
And make that this current purpose of your life. Instead of just kind of sitting around, just going to the park. And I'm looking forward to seeing your purpose as it continues to evolve and grow. And I thank you for coming on.
Yeah,
I really
it's been
appreciate
great to be here. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. Give him a round of applause.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Thanks.
Shout out. And wherever you guys are, I don't care. If you're on that treadmill and you're almost like towards the end of that treadmill, be thinking about your next purpose. Be thinking about not focusing on retirement, but evolving your next purpose. And up next, we have an extraordinary young man who's like oozing with style. Mr. Sanao Holly. He's a Culture Foundry, community strategist and manager. Sanao, come up. Come through. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Awesome. Good to see you. You're now part of our soundtrack to your life segment, where we talk about music and how music is an enabler of your business. But before we go into your favorite song, tell us a little bit about the work you're doing.
Okay, so I work for an incredible agency called the Culture Foundry, and we do what we call consumer insights, and we work with people and we work with brands and companies and help them bridge the gap when it comes to research, especially qualitative research. So me being a community manager means I work a lot with people. So which is why spaces like this are very important for me, because I get to meet different people outside of work, but also get to connect with my colleagues.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Are any of your colleagues here?
Yes, so we've got everybody here, a busy time, but we make time for the things that matter.
I can see this is
Kate.
Kate.
This is Kate. We've got Luke.
Kate, come
back.
say hello. Come say hello to everybody, Kate.
And then we've got Loy as well.
Loy in the back.
Yeah,
What's up, Loy?
so-
Loy, come up, guys. Let's say hi to the team. So you guys, how long have you been members here? How long have you had presence here?
I lost count, to be quite honest, because it's been that great. I think we've been more than
come to
4
this side.
years.
More than 4 years?
Yes, so
Okay.
it's been more than 4 years. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Since 2020.
Since
Yes.
2020.
Demi said, yeah.
All
Yeah,
right,
since
cool.
2020, yeah.
So this is very organic, guys. I didn't prepare them. We want this to be quite organic, not overly scripted. We want to have some fun. Let's talk a little bit about your favorite song, and then we'll talk about your favorite song as well.
Oh, no.
What's your favorite song? At the moment?
I think my favorite song just played now. It's the song with Joy that Pharrell played at the Louis Vuitton.
wow.
Yes, that's my favorite song.
Can we get? Let's listen to it. Let's listen to the song. Joy, 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 joy. Joy. Woo. Ooh, I love this song. So
Yes.
what does it do to you? What does this song do? To you?
I mean, like the title of the song itself, it's self-explanatory, but I feel like because of like when that song came out, it was such a big moment for someone who I look up to, but also as someone who works hybrid at home, and it's very important. Like music plays a very integral role in my daily life. So a song like that is inspiring, but also like gets up the mood and gets your energy up. So that's why that song is one of the most special songs for
Yeah,
me.
you guys kind of a young, kind of funky, kind of organization as well. Kind of upbeat.
Yeah. Have you
Yeah.
checked out our social media?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
What
after
is
this-
it? Plug it. What is it?
Our social media is at the Culture Foundry Co.
Okay.
on Instagram, and anybody here, I'm willing to go and type it in for you.
Okay.
So I can definitely do that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. What about you? Do you have a favorite?
Do you know my husband is my DJ?
Okay.
When I'm working at home and not here with the guys, whatever he's playing,
Okay.
he sets the tone, and I'm happy with that. I discover a lot of new things that way.
So Gavin is our tech writer. Give Gavin a big shout. What's up, Gavin? He's like a legend and an icon in this space, and he's got an extraordinary team with us here today. Gavin, do you have any Afro beats? Any Afro beats? See if you can search Diamond Platinum. Diamond Platinum. There's a specific song. If you can't, that's no stress. Don't stress about it. But see if you can find that for me. Anybody else have a favorite song you want to listen? You want us to anybody else with a song? You got one? Come up. This is my colleague Debbie at Podcast Party. Let's see. Give her a round of applause. Come on, come through, Debs.
I'll finish with Kate.
Yeah. Kate is like, whoo, I'm out. How are you?
Good and you.
All right, before you give us your song, tell us a little bit about Podcast Party.
So Podcast Party, we do podcasts. We love open dialogue and critical thinking. We love having meaningful discussions, and we need to talk more, which is the same
Yeah,
as
exactly.
Workshop 17. So-
Power of stories, like
Yeah.
Paul was saying.
Yeah.
All right, what's your song?
Okay, my song, I don't know what it's called, but it starts off, I got the power. And it's all about personal attitude and responsibility.
Yes.
That's why I love
I've got
it.
the power.
I got the power.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see if I can find this song. So mine is Como Saba by Diamond Platinum, and it's basically he goes throughout this song. Throughout the song, he's greeting people in different languages, literally from all over the world. It's one of my favorite. Can I play it on my mic real quick? It's one of my favorite songs. And I don't know what he's saying half the song, but I absolutely am obsessed with this song. I'm gonna fast forward to where he's greeting everybody. Do you know this song?
No.
You know it. You know it as well. Watch this. He's just gonna go through different languages. And this song reminds me of inclusion. Every single person wants to be greeted in their language. And it wants to be felt and seen in their language. And there's something powerful when people see you and they see your, watch this part. Here we go. Here we go. Unjani?
What's up?
Yeah. Watch this. Meow. Assalamu alaikum. I feel like I've converted some of you. Come on, guys, give a round of applause. It's beautiful. I genuinely feel like part of this space, what it does is help see people who you wouldn't always see. Trevor Noah said something on when he was at the Daily Show. He talked about how do you recruit journalists and comedians? He said, sometimes I have to go outside of my comfort zone because there are incredible comedians that I wouldn't normally see in my space. And if you think about it, that's what this space does. Yeah. Is opens us up to people we wouldn't ordinarily see.
Yeah.
And you know how obsessed I am with paddle.
Yeah.
The reason I love paddle, I join open matches and I meet people I wouldn't normally see. And so, guys, this is an incredible dynamic. You know, before we let both of you guys go, what's the future of your organization? What are you guys up to? What are you going to be pioneering into? What are some fun things you guys have on the horizon?
I mean, like, it's really hard to say, but I think what we're really looking forward to as an agency is taking over globally. Because based on what we do, we're able to not limit ourselves and also like take the work that we do globally. And that's also been like such an intentional approach to the work that we do. So we just don't looking at situations or attracting brands only in South Africa, but also in other global countries and spaces. And I feel like spaces like this encourage that because someone might be visiting from overseas and they get to meet myself and my wonderful team.
Yeah.
And then we get to sneak in a conversation about doing business.
Yeah, exactly. And podcast party, what's happening? Is there any events coming up?
Yes, we actually have an event next Tuesday for Youth Day, a youth panel talking about education. And that's a hybrid podcast. So some of our podcasts are in studio and others we have live audiences. You're all welcome to come. So we're based at Acorn Lane in Sandhurst, 61 Rivonia Road. And yeah, we often have events where we invite a live audience to our podcasts. So yeah.
Anybody like the song Happy?
I love this song.
Guys, give them a round of applause. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anil. I'm happy you came through, guys. Up next, we have an extraordinary panel, and I'm adding a bit more time because we have three really, really wonderful entrepreneurs, leaders who are going to come through, and we're going to talk about why you came back to the office. You know, so many people, there are people who still work from home, but let's talk about why you came back and the work you guys are doing. So we've got Megan Ann DeVette. She is both digital engineer. Please welcome Megan. Give her a round of applause. Megan. Good to see you. And we've got Lorato Chaking, Decode Communications Chief Dots Connector. Is Lorato here? Yes. Thank you so much. Give him a round of applause, Lorato. And we got Matthew Marsden. He's the CEO and founder of Startup Club ZA. Matt, come through. Come through. Thank you so much. Can we get Matt a chair, please? Yeah. Can we get if you can grab Matt a chair here for me.
Is this mine?
Yeah, that's your mic.
I can stand as well.
Yeah. Awesome. So let's start with you, Megan. Tell us a little bit about yourself and the work you're doing.
So I am a recent engineering graduate. I'm currently doing my master's in industrial engineering. I'm also Miss UJ, so Miss University.
Miss UJ.
UJ
Oh, wow.
for University of Johannesburg. But my main thing is I work for a digital transformation company.
So you're like the reigning queen?
Yes, only for 3 more months.
3 more months. Shout out. Give me a Miss UJ.
Yeah, and it's Workshop 17. I can work from home. The thing is, you can work from home, but it's like gymming from home.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
I haven't thought about it like that. That's actually a good point.
So coming to the office and working here as a digital engineer, I get to communicate with a lot of different people from a lot of different spaces. I get to promote the business and get more clients. And it's actually just, I'm a very social person. So locking myself up in a bedroom doesn't work.
But I'm interested in this whole Miss UJ. How did you have to, like, the whole pageant thing? Did you do the whole pageant thing? How does it work?
I have 0 pageants experience.
Okay.
I just did it for fun, as I thought it was my last year at varsity, and I was just like, let's do everything. I did it, I won, and
when
yay.
people vote for you, or you go in front of a panel?
It's in front of judges. You do the whole walk, the whole competition, community engagement. You work with the university on a few things. It's very fun.
Oh, nice. And do you have one of those change the world speeches? One of those?
Not the world, but the university.
For the university.
Yes.
I see. Nice. All right. Lorato, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I just want to make sure I don't get your surname wrong.
Sure.
Ching King.
So it's you enunciate it like it's Chinese. Tsing Keng.
Tsing King. Oh, wow. Awesome.
Yes.
And which background is that from?
I'm a Motswana from Daum.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Lovely. Well, welcome. Welcome. And tell us a bit about the work you're doing.
Sure. I run a PR agency called Decode Communications. We've been running it for about 12 years now. And we actually have now been at Workshop 17 for 10 years.
10 years?
Yes.
Wow,
So-
wait, let's just check. Are you the longest running member here? Do you think you're the longest running?
So we in Sentin. So I suspect I'm not, if you consider that Sentin had been established for longer.
I see.
Right.
I see.
But I'd always been about the right address, right? So when we started our business, we started in Wynberg. So I know, I remember one of our first customers. Because the extension of the address is Sentin, right? So it's Wynberg, Sentin. When they're coming from Pretoria, they're driving up Greyston Drive, but the GPS says 10 left. And it's like, but am I not supposed to be turning that way? So it took us about 2 years to then change address to come to the right address. What we try and do, Timothy, is help businesses think differently about reputational risk, right? And what that means is that oftentimes people and business owners don't think much about what, how they behave and conduct themselves may actually impact their businesses. Think about Adam Katsavelos, right? Remember the bagger that went to Greece? He was on holiday. He decided to take his phone and he said, there is no K person in sight, right? The resultant of him misbehaving in that way was that his parents or his family owned a basting source, which is supporting, or at least which is providing a lot of the A-grade restaurants in and around Sentin and many other, places. And they lost a lot of business based on that. And I often ask businesses that we work with to say, your suppliers, do you know if they are bigots? And it can be in any way. Right. And sometimes you have to then do some sort of just social media snap survey and say, I know that this person may be a good IT supplier for our business, but what are the reputational risks that may be associated with them being our service provider? Because, in the age of social media, unfortunately, you don't have to be wrong for you to be wrong. Somebody who works for you, who provides you with a service, may be wrong and then gets you into trouble. So we help people to think proactively about those.
So let's help Elon Musk. So Elon, people are scratching his cars and all types of, irrespective of what you think about him.
Sure.
Elon is sitting here right now and you get a chance to consult him. What would you say to him about the link between his reputation and Tesla?
So the first honest answer to you would be, we don't work with clients that don't listen. And Elon does no, and I'm being honest. Right? we are in the consulting business and advisory, and advice is voluntary. So you have to volunteer to take our advice. You are going to pay for it, right? But for it to work, you have to take it. But suppose, we're now in 2040 and Elon has now changed his behavior and he listens.
Yes.
Right? The first thing,
So wait, are you having this conversation in Mars or you on Earth?
The likelihood is that we would have emigrated to Mars.
Okay, so you're in Mars.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Right. One, the important thing is to recognize that it can't always be everything about him, right? Because what he has been able to do is that there's synonymity between him, Elon Musk, the brand, and his businesses, right? Of course, you understand that he had this master plan that he had always built his businesses on. So perhaps that is why there's no divorce between Elon Musk, the personality, and his businesses. So it would be to say, break away from that, because now the businesses are going to start running by themselves and not being attached to you, because then you de-risk your businesses. People don't see Elon Musk, but they see a brand that they find affinity with.
I see.
Yeah.
Awesome. Shout out. Matt, how are you, bro?
I'm good, Tim.
Are you going to be...
I'm good.
Will you be in Mars with these guys?
Probably not, Tim. I'm pretty comfortable
hang out here with
at
us.
Workshop 17 in Rosebank right now.
I think that's the question. Will we have a Workshop 17 on Mars? Let's, you never know, right?
Yeah.
You're the founder at Startup Club ZA.
That's
Tell
right.
us about the work you're doing.
Yeah, thanks everybody, and nice to chat to you over the lunch hour.
Yeah.
Folks, I'm really privileged to be the founder of a network now of tech founders and investors, the largest one in South Africa, called Startup Club ZA. We care about really this intersection of entrepreneurship and innovation. So folks that are looking to solve hard problems in the world using innovative technology, the likes of an Elon Musk, but better personalities, hopefully, and building the next big thing. So we capacitate, support, resource this ecosystem, these founders, by first and foremost bringing people together, which is why I think our ethos is so closely aligned with that of a Workshop 17. We then build product platform to try and do that on a national scale. And we're very fortunate to be moving into the venture capital space as well to try and fill that early stage funding gap. So a little bit about us.
Let's talk about some realities on the ground. We had a great chat before about this 1 million rand. Yeah, tell us about this.
So it's I think the fruit of collaborative work and I think having a spirit of service of this space has allowed us to meet some remarkable partners. Some of them are key anchor entrepreneurs in South Africa. This year, through the support of one of them, one of the anchor entrepreneurial families in this country, we are running the very first $1 million pitch event for startups in South Africa at the moment.
Wow.
So we've had our Johannesburg.
Come on, round of applause.
That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. That's where you kind of like reluctant to give an applause, but he said so you do it anyway. I appreciate all three of you. But no, we had our qualifier in April in Johannesburg, which we've graduated top 5 from. We do the same in Cape Town come August, and have our grand finale at the Oppenheimer's South African Future Trust Summit in October here at Sandton Convention Center. So anyone wants to know more or into that, please come and talk to me post this session.
Let's give a shout out to where can they find the work you guys are doing? I think so many people are seeking funding, seeking incubation for incredible ideas. They can draw inspiration. Where can they go?
So first and foremost, we are a professional network. So Startup Club ZA on LinkedIn. Okay, LinkedIn. We're not huge on TikTok yet and those sorts of things. But also visit startupclubza.com and you can find out a lot more about some of the events we've got coming up, many of which we've hosted at a Workshop 17 in the past. We've got our Johannesburg Founder Day, which is our day-long masterclass style event for tech founders in South Africa, coming up in 2 weeks, actually. So quite relevant for our live audience and potentially for listeners. But
awesome.
Check us out for more.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Megan, your digital engineering work, is that something you dreamt about as a kid?
Well, I am very young, so the digital space was very up and coming.
Already, yeah, exactly.
Yes. But I don't think it was a dream. my dream was always to be an engineer, but I didn't know in which space I would go in. So choosing digital engineering and working for a digital transformation company was a very easy choice, because if you think of where we are in the world, people are getting their jobs replaced by the digital space. So looking in the long term, where do you see yourself prospering in bigger fields, and where do you see yourself growing the most? It's definitely the engineering and digital engineering space.
Let's talk about this particular space. Have you met any cool people here? Built any
yes.
relationships with anyone that's helped advance the work?
Not necessarily advance the work, but advance myself in my work. Yes. So if you surround yourself with people who work hard and who are ambitious, you are more likely to adapt to that, and you want to work hard to be on the same level. So being surrounded by so many people who are much more experienced and advanced in the field, it's a very good space to be in, because it benefits me as a person, but then it also benefits the company itself.
Yeah, you can hack into their kind of insights and their background. Anybody you want to give a shout out to that's kind of been a bit like a big brother or big sister to you?
He's actually in a meeting right now. His name is MJ.
MJ, shout out MJ. Hopefully he's watching the podcast later. Shout out MJ. Awesome. Lorata, let's talk a little bit about some of the people you've met in your 10 years at Workshop 17. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
So there's a chap called Silebogo Molefe.
Okay.
Silebogo, he's prominently known as Dr. Life's Good on majority of his social platforms. And he's also in the enterprise development space. He now also hosts a show on UFM, on small businesses in particular, right? And him, because he introduced me to Workshop 17 10 years ago. And I must say, he's one of the better champions of how do we do business, particularly, turning smaller survivalist businesses into potentially high growing businesses. And I like that thinking from him. Yeah.
There's a lot of risk right now with social media and, this space. What do you talk to people? What do you tell people about in terms of balancing that kind of equilibrium between being authentic?
Sure.
What I'm trying to do now is get people watching free consultation. Are you okay with that?
That's okay. That's okay.
That risk dynamic between being super authentic and out there. I have a client right now, literally, who has had a challenge with her organization and maybe booted out, primarily because they want to be on social media often. But on the opposite side, it's attracting a lot of opportunities for this person. So that tension is very strong. How do you help people navigate that reputational risk?
Importantly, Timothy, one of the first things that we ask people is to say, depending, on the capacity you have in the business, we often try and advise, whether it's a one-man band organization or even a bigger organization, find a team around you, right? Because you're going to be in a session like this, something breaks on social media. When you respond 3 hours later because you're doing important things, people have made judgments about you. But when you have a team that is working, and sometimes, or at least now, there's AI that may even be able to assist with some of that, one, anticipation, responses, and the likes, right? So that may be helpful. So I'm saying the importance of, or we should not underestimate, call it scenario planning, to say, when I'm in a long day workshop and something breaks, what does it mean for my brand? Right. So that would be the first thing that I would really advise on.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I want to move towards a close. I want to bring all of these conversations together. Megan, what could you offer Matt? Watch this, guys. I want you to watch how I kind of engineer some connections when it comes to work dynamics. So, did you get a sense of the work he's doing with startups?
Yes.
So how could you offer value to his startups?
If they are looking for a digital platform where they can manage their clients or anything, then they can definitely contact us and we'll be able to help.
What do you think your startups, how do you think they could take advantage of the services she offers from what she shared so far?
Yeah, founders are innately kind of, they don't know what they don't know people. And actually, it's that naivety that makes them fantastic.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are people that do know what they don't know.
Yeah.
And so we typically recommend rather ask the questions and have the answers that you don't need
Got
than
it.
not have the answers.
Got
So
it.
this is a classic case of quite a large segment of our community are service providers that understand the space. They are experts. They're thought leaders.
I see.
We try and so much of what we do is about connecting those stakeholders.
How important is your personal brand to the success of Club ZA? Do you see any link whatsoever?
It's material. My wife reminds me, all of us will attach a person to a brand at some point. It might as well be you controlling the narrative.
Yeah.
And I think it's disingenuous if I'm out there professing collaboration, service, value alignment, and my personal brand is the complete counter. It will affect the business. In some respects, I've appreciated that public accountability as well. But it's been material in growing some of our influence, and certainly the two kind of feed one another.
All right. Last thing. Now let me connect the two of you.
Sure.
You guys see where I'm going here, right?
Yeah.
I see where you're going.
So,
Yeah.
Loretta, you're sitting down with Matt. What's the first thing you do? Do you do a personal brand audit? Do you some sort of reputation audit? What's the first step in connecting?
Please don't do that, Laurent. I'm going to fail.
Yes, we do. And importantly, we ask some of the difficult questions that people don't think about, right? To Matt would be like, have you thought about, and it's a very crude question that requires me to touch wood. Considering that there's the intricate link between you and the business, or at least the personal brand, should you fall and die tomorrow, is Startup ZA going to succeed the way you had thought that, or at least expected it to? What are the things that you've put in place from a reputation management point of view, from a risk management point of view, so that it's able to succeed? And that's some of the questions we ask to the founders, to say, we want to be where, your parents are with 52 years of marriage. By the way, this year my wife and I will be 23 years married. So your parents inspire me. So it's those kinds of, difficult things that we don't think about. Think about the Keyman insurance question as an example. It's almost the last thing, but you know how critical it is.
As I wrap up this segment, I want to say to you guys, thank you, and I really wish you guys the best. But I want to know how you guys play, and we want to talk to the audience a bit. Einstein said the highest form of research is play, having fun. How do you guys have fun? Because here's the thing. We call it in neuroscience shutting off the prefrontal cortex. When you decide to kind of divorce yourself from logic, all of the extraordinary ideas and patterns in the unconscious mind from your observation over the years start to kind of create patterns. And that's why when you stop thinking about stuff, answers often come. And so play is the highest form of evolution at times. How do you play? See, I don't have time to play.
He's trying to manage his reputation right now.
Not even. So I'm upset at YFM because they have moved one of my favorite DJs. So every Friday without fail, after the 6 o'clock bulletin, I would on full blast tune to YFM. They have a set that plays for about 50 to 55 minutes long. Right?
And you would vibe.
And listen, by the way, it's my 10th year without a car. I commute everywhere. I use Uber and every other mode of transport, right? So it started a while back. Whenever I would be in my car, I would literally leave the office only then so that I would be able to do it. Because when I'm at home, my wife does not tolerate this, this little kid that comes out on Friday.
Yeah.
So that's me.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Monique, how do you play? Megan, how do you
I
play?
was a bit confused.
Yeah.
Megan, how old are you now?
I'm 24.
23. Oh my goodness. Just contextualize the age difference here on the stage right now.
Okay, I'm turning 25.
23
so I'm not
years
that
of marriage.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
No, how I play is my brain doesn't switch off ever. So I'm always busy with something. I love to socialize. So whether it is, like you said, playing paddle.
Yeah.
I like taking my dog out to dog parks. And my favorite people are dog people.
Yeah, and dog parks are fascinating, right?
Yes.
Like it's hard to be thinking about anything else but just joy.
Yes.
Sheer joy and fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's just spending time with the people I love, basically.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Megan. Matt, how do you play?
It's actually really similar to Megan. I think we're big dog people in the Marsden family. We love travel. Staycation is the best. And I love the Monocle magazine. If anyone's ever read Monocle magazine, that's like my personal magazine addiction. Not that I have many, but super cool. Travel, fashion, style, global, cosmopolitan thinking. It's really, right up there. And a bit of paddle, of course, but I felt like that answer was stolen.
I think we need a Workshop 17 paddle tournament. Guys,
agreed.
Let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you guys so much. Shout out. Embassy, thank you. We have a Roman mic before our next segment, which is we're going to be moving to our final segment of today. Hope you guys are having a lot of fun meeting members and meeting some really, really cool people. I'm having a blast. But we've got a Roman mic. Can we come through? I want to know how you guys play. Anybody want to raise your hand? How do you have fun? How do you release from the stress of work? Anybody want to share how you actually play? Over here. Yeah, here we go. Just introduce yourself and the work you guys are doing. The camera will swing around to you.
Thanks. My name's Claudia Bentel, and I'm the Workshop 17 W17 Gallery Director. I run the art, and I curate all the spaces, and I run a gallery. And I play by dancing. I love dancing. I do tango and I do ballet, and it's lots of fun. And I'm really bad in times and think I'm a little bit better in other times, but yeah, it's...
What does it do for you? Like when you are like just kind of like going through an experience with dancing and so forth, what does it do for you?
I think it's an expression. It's a way to have a freedom of expression and a response to music. So music's, of course, a very important part. And I think particularly the tango, just generally, and I was thinking about what you were saying, how metaphoric it is and how much it plays out in the workplace, work-life balance, and how it's these subtle nuances of improvisation and really listening to your partner. No one is ever really leading and following completely. We're having a conversation and we're listening to each other in the moment, and we're responding to the music. And the music is the third partner. So I think, that subtle kind of...
I like that, the third partner.
Yeah.
I've never thought about that before.
Yeah.
You're right. Like you and the music have a relationship as well, right?
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Shout out. Give her a round of applause. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Anyone else want to share how you play? I know one of my colleagues here, Duncan, is a renowned DJ as well. And he's a lot of fun. He's on this side over here. Duncan, what do you do? What do you do to have fun? You're a tech genius, but what do you do to have fun besides DJing?
Good day, everyone. So I just recently found out that playing drums is a good way for me just to let loose and get into like a cathartic state and just express myself subconsciously and consciously. So it's something that I've recently got into, and I'd encourage everyone here to pick up an instrument or even drumming, because sometimes you feel like strumming the guitar, then sometimes you feel like playing the drums, or sometimes you feel like just blowing everything that's in you out through like a flute or a trumpet or a saxophone. So I'd say musical instruments are a good way for you just to release and have fun and play.
Yeah. And neuroscientists say that it triggers neuroplasticity, where your brain's ability to rewire itself. So you are onto something.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Up next, our final segment, where we're going to be talking office productivity, what the space has done for your mental health, and we're going to have some fun doing it. First person up is Tiffany Green. She's the Emergent Inquiry Consulting for organizational development, change management expertise. Give her a round of applause. Thank you. Welcome. How are you? And we have a Fetch Analytics co-founder, Kelly Cohen. Give Kelly a round of applause. Thank you so much, Kelly. Thanks, Kelly. Let me start with you, Tiffany. There are not many of us here in South Africa. When I say many of us, I mean Americans. And And they're not. And oftentimes, America has this brand reputation of, speaking of Lorato, arrogant and obnoxious. But I found you really, really cool and so chill, so down to earth. Where are you from in the States?
So originally from Michigan, Flint, Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Flint, Michigan.
Yeah. Moved here from Seattle, Washington.
Nice. Tell us about the work you're doing.
So about 3 years ago, started up a boutique consultancy firm. We do organization development and change management consulting, specifically for organizations that are looking to create a presence and scale across emerging markets. So we work a lot with organizations that are headquartered in the global north. And what does it look like to actually engage, to drive local capacity, to be able to build impact in the global south?
Oh, nice. And you also have your own podcast called Meeting in the Middle, which we're going to talk about in a moment.
Yes.
But I want to introduce Kelly Cohen. Tell us a little bit about your Fetch Analytics. What are you guys fetching?
Sure. Hi, Tim. Thanks for having me.
Yes.
So Fetch Analytics specializes in human movement behavior. We analyze human movement patterns. As we're sitting here now, we all have applications on our phone that require a location. And those locations are pinging in the background.
Oh, wow.
We take all of that data, we consolidate it, and we run it through our proprietary algorithms and start identifying how people are engaging with the built environment. So how many people are coming into Rosebank? Which stores are they going into? Where do we see them when they're not in Rosebank? Where are their home zones? Where are their work zones? And how is that impacting on their shopping behavior?
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you discovered any like fascinating trends that you can share? Like anything that kind of pops up top of mind that you were like blown away by yourself when you saw these kind of movements?
So when we started the business, we acquired it actually just before COVID hit. So we went through that whole period of very limited movement of individuals. Our business operates across 4 markets, the UK being the primary market. And it's been really interesting to watch the movement in terms of how people have returned to work, the fact that we aren't seeing people back at work 5 times a week yet, and which days they are going into work and how that then impacts on their shopping behaviors, how they're shopping a lot more local, and just how that's changed over time. So it's been fascinating.
So can you put this technology on your partners to track where they are?
That's a great question. And
Not legally.
Something my husband asks me all the time. But no, so we're not monitoring any individuals. And there's obviously compliance around privacy, GDPR and POPI. So everything's at an aggregated level. The way we receive the data is completely hashed. And then we extrapolate that to the real world context. So we're only ever getting a sample of the population that will then extrapolate to give you an understanding. But what we can do is tell McDonald's how well KFC's promotion is running based on the movement in terms of, how many people are frequenting the KFC when that promotion is running. So, yeah. Not spying on individual people, but we do have the ability to see performance of.
You know what I would love to see is like how people move within the Workshop 17 different spaces. Yeah. Because I often frequent Hyde Park. I've gone to Santon. I've gone here. I've gone different. It would be really interesting if we could draw a map of that.
Yeah. And one of the great things we are able to do as well is if Workshop 17 was considering a new location, we'd be able to do what we call a resident analysis, where we'd have a look at what the movement of the residents are now. So where are we seeing these residents going to work? Where are we seeing which supermarkets are they frequenting? Which brands? What are the demographic profiles? So that you can start really identifying, they've had great success in Rosebank. What's the profile of the individual here? And how do we replicate that in other places within the country?
Hey, data analytics is powerful, right?
Yeah.
And you can make more informed, smart decisions. I think the thing I'm enjoying about this conversation most is the diversity of members that are here, right? People from all types of backgrounds and so forth. Your podcast, Meeting in the Middle, is something I'm really, really passionate about, and I can't wait. I just found out about it, so I can't wait to download it. Tell us about Meeting in the Middle and why that's so important to you.
Yeah, and so this was more of a passion project for me. But I have an experience in the world right now and have traveled a lot, have lived in different countries around the globe, and we are moving into a world of being very divisive in terms of how we see ourselves, being on very like separate ends of the spectrum and not always listening. And I heard one of your guests earlier say, their clients have to listen. And I think that as humans, we have to listen. And if we listen, that's how we learn. And that's how we can build a better world for future generations. And so meeting in the middle is about actually being intentional, about meeting folks that are different than you, being open and listening to different perspectives and learning something, and actually meeting in the middle in terms of what you're leaving that conversation with. So it's a podcast with myself and my girlfriend who is Mexican, lives in Germany. And we just talk a little bit about how our diverse experience have impacted who we are and what we can learn from each other.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of what we're doing now. We're kind of meeting here in the middle of Workshop 17 and connecting with people who are from vastly different spaces. Kelly, when you come in, does this help your mental health space? Your mental health? I mean, I know myself, I'm trying to find my rhythm between working in the office and home. And on the road. And sometimes when I go too far to one extreme, I know I need to bring it back.
Yeah.
What does this do for you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I can tell you, and I can summarize it in one sentence. When I walk through the doors downstairs at Proud Mary and they close behind me, and I come into this space, it's like there's a sigh of relief, because no matter what chaos is happening outside, the space that they have so carefully curated here and the team that they've assembled, from Demi to Sofiso to the guys behind the bar, it feels like an extension of yourself, like coming home, and it's absolute peace and tranquility.
Wow.
So the space is really, with a really diverse, dispersed team across various markets, it's always so nice to come in here and feel like you included and part of a team, even if you may not be sitting with colleagues right next to you. So I think they've carefully curated all of the components to come together to really give you that sense of peace from the minute you walk through those doors.
You did mention Demi. We need to shout out Demi. Demi, please come up. Demi is one of the leaders in this space. We have to recognize you. Yeah, please come through. I just really want everybody to see your jacket. It's a very nice jacket.
I know, I'm very stylish.
Come through. Come to the front. Don't be so shy. Come through. Demi, thank you so much for the hard work you do in this particular location. You have your colleagues in the other location doing amazing work themselves, but you're so dedicated. There are times when I email you last minute and I say, look, I'm so sorry. And you just reply so nicely to be like, yeah, you should have sent this 2 weeks ago, but you don't say that. So thank you so much. And just say hello to everyone. And
Hi. But a lot of that goes to the team that we have at the bank.
Yeah.
They're just amazing.
Yeah.
So
the whole team.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, where is the rest of the team? Anywhere? Team members, stand up. Stand up, guys. Let's shout out the team.
Hazel is here somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're so right. You're so right. Thank you so much, Demi.
Thank
We're
you.
so right. I mean, it is the team effort, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It feels like a little pocket of sunshine when from from the reception area right through to who's watering the plants. It's such a warm embrace. So it really is felt.
Tiffany, your work in change management, it's tough work. When you come through the space, what do you feel here?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And I just wanted to do another little plug for Demi because she ran off real quick. I know she doesn't like to be in front of the camera. I do think that as much as the experience that we've had here is a team experience, a big piece of that and something that I've learned through my expertise in my work is that the leadership is so important. And the ability for not only Demi, but the other folks that work in Workshop 17 to show up as leaders leaders. And that means being proactive. That means figuring out how to get to yes, right? That means being innovative in how they approach and come up with solutions. Like that's a big part of Demi, what you have instilled in this. And she's also grown some amazing leaders who've gone off and been able to do other work. And so that's not easy. And so from a change perspective, I want to recognize and appreciate that as well. And round of applause. Yes. And I will say, you know, there are so many co-working spaces. I completely agree with my colleague here is that what makes Workshop 17 different are the people. You can go into other extremely beautiful co-working spaces that have great space and great light, but you don't have the people. You don't have the warmth. You don't have the help. You don't have the support. And I feel like that's what, for me, has made that difference for Workshop 17 versus any other co-working space we could have chosen.
If we go to your website, I think it's emergentconsulting.co.
That's right.
What will we find? What is the priorities that you guys have?
Yeah, so our priorities are really around how do we make this world a little bit of a better place when we leave it. And so we do that through a few different things, helping organizations think about how they form and develop and create high potential leadership teams to be able to drive successful programs. We do it around looking at full organization transformations from a global perspective and what does it look like to really have a global lens, not only a local or domestic lens. We also look at it from a cultural point of view. That's one reason I love Workshop 17 is being American living in South Africa, like being able to be immersed in the culture. And part of that is coming in and meeting and working and building relationships, right? With folks that are local that I can learn from.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's also something that you'll find on our website and how do you build that in your organization more intentionally.
So you really live this thing.
Yeah. Try to.
Yeah. By the way, have you guys done any change management work with Trump?
You know, if he calls us, we'll be there. We'll be there to help because there needs to be some changes happening.
Kelly, who are you guys trying to attract? Who are you trying to help in your fetch data work?
So it's a really interesting question, Tim, and actually the customer base is so wide because if you think of really anybody from a bank who's trying to really try and understand how successful an SME will be because of the economic viability outside that store, right through to a major retail investment trust who's analyzing their portfolio, to a brand like McDonald's who's trying to understand where their next site should be or how that will cannibalize on another. The use cases are broad and wide. So I think in having conversations with us, we'll find that actually this can be applicable to most sectors.
And your website, how can we find you?
Fetchanalytics.ai.
.ai. Guys, thank you so much for helping us kind of move to a conclusion. You guys are such superstars, and I really appreciate it. Hope you guys go and subscribe to your podcast called Meeting in the Middle.
That's right.
On all platforms.
All platforms.
Spotify, wherever you listen.
Wherever you listen.
Wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you guys so much. Shout out. Let's move to our final segment. I want to close this out by turning it back to a couple of the members that are here. If anybody, we want to talk about the future. Like, what do you hope to create at Workshop 17? If you want to come up and share, what does the future look like for you? I'd really love to kind of hear. For me, one of the things that I'm working on now is a new book. And so much of this book will be written at Workshop 17. I want everybody who's been on the podcast to come back up to the front. I want to take a photo because this is our inaugural work life radio. So if you've been on the podcast, come back up to the front. We want to take a photo. And for those of you who are watching, I want to thank you so much. Everyone watching, I wanted you to take a selfie of yourself and post and say, I was a part of this first podcast. Where's the mic? This is how we're going to do this. Yeah. Anyone who wants to share, what are you working on? What's coming up? Paul? Craig?
Paul, you got.
Yeah. What's next? Any new Workshop 17?
Our next location will be Century City, opening 1 September.
Lovely. Shout out.
Next Wednesday, we've got the founder of Sealand at Hyde Park for our 5 o'clock slot. So come and join that.
Nice. Let's move it around. Any exciting things coming up for you?
Working efficiently.
Yes.
And harmoniously with everybody that comes here.
Nice. Lovely.
Incorporating further data like spend data into our platform.
Spend data. Nice.
So we have our next Women in Leadership webinar coming up. And so if you go to our website, you can subscribe and get more information about that and learn a little bit about what it takes to be a global leader.
As Paul said, just a few more Workshop 17s and some exhibitions coming up. So it'd be great to see you guys at those new locations.
We'll see you at Decorex as well, right?
And Decorex, yes.
Yeah.
The bank team are looking forward to a very busy eventing month next month.
Nice.
I don't know how many of you know that the 30th of June is marked as World Social Media Day. Decode Communications is hosting the 3rd Social Media Summit for Government. And for government, because government communicators suck at communicating. And we try and help them to say, stop saying the minister has arrived, but do something a lot better. So we're hosting that. And if you're available to attend, it will be at UJ, the Business School, on the 30th, Monday, on the 1st of July.
Awesome. Thank you guys for coming to hang out in the audience. Thank you for hanging out in the audience, and thank you guys for watching. And please do share this Work Life Radio Workshop 17 podcast with everyone in your network. Be a part of this movement wherever you are. I'm Timothy Maurice. Until next time.